Hello, I'm Matthew from LudoChrono, and today I'm going to give you an overview of It's a Wonderful World. So this is a drafting game for 1 to 5 players, ages 14 and up, and it plays for around 45 minutes. So this is a game about building your empire with development cards, and you're going to draft those, and you're going to have to plan because you don't want your opponents to have the cards that you want, and you want to select the ones that will block your opponents as well. So every player will have an Empire card and then will be dealt a hand of 7 development cards. You will have a central board, which is composed of a few sections. So you have one section for each resource. So we have materials, energy, science, gold, and exploration. And these have different abilities, but mainly they will serve building cards. Finally, we have victory point tokens here and there, so they also serve as a currency and a wide resource that is going to be used. We have a round tracker there, which is going to count up the four rounds of the game, and finally a big draw pile in which you are going to deal the cards, the 7 cards from that to each player every round. So what can you find on the cards? Well, on the cards you can find many different things. So on the cards you will have the cost, which is written there on the top left corner. And then on the bottom box you have the abilities that they provide you if they are in your empire, if you have built them. Sometimes it's an endgame ability like victory points or scaling scoring. Sometimes it gives you resources every round. And also it gives you a symbol which is basically the building type. And some of the buildings that you're going to have, the developments that you're going to have, are going to be based on the building type. For example, this one. Also, you might have some abilities that trigger when you build that building. So when you complete that building, you're going to get 2 generals, for example. And additionally, there is that little symbol, which is very important. So that little symbol here is what you get if you discard the card during the round. So how does a round play, you're going to say? Well, you're going to first draft the 7 cards that you have. So you're going to be dealt a hand of 7, and then you will remove 1 card and pass the hand to another player. Every player is going to do so simultaneously, and you're going to do that until you have put away 7 cards, and you're going to take those, and this is your final hand. And with your final hand, you're going to then move on to the second phase, the planning phase, and you're going to either place these cards onto your construction board, so not in your empire, but for example, if I want to build the Animorphs, I'm just going to place that into my construction area. So this one I also want, and finally this one I also want. So I'm going to have all of those, and then the other ones I don't want, I may discard them to get the resource that's printed here. So for example, I'm going to just remove that one, place, take the resource, so materials, and place it on one of my cards. So I'm going to do so with this card as well. It's the same resource. I'm going to do so for the third card, which gives me another resource, and finally this one gives me a energy token. So now that I have discarded the cards necessary to build this thing, this development is complete. And that allows me to discard all of the resources, put them back here, and then this card that I have completed is going to go there into my empire. This means that what I have built here is going to net me additional abilities during the third phase of the round, the production phase. So during the production phase, you're going to go from the materials to exploration, and for every resource, you're going to have like a majority phase. So you're going to count up the number of resources of that kind that you produce, and that's what's printed in your empire area. In this case, I will produce 2, and that player is going to produce 3 of them. So as this player produces more, they get the victory point token that's printed here. And as a reminder, it serves also as a currency, so sometimes it's valuable. So then I will take up the resources. Everyone takes the resources that are printed there. I will complete that building. So that building is going to come here into my empire area. So this is also how you build buildings. Then you're going to move on to the next resource. And here I'm going to produce 2 black cubes, so energy cubes. And I may place one here because there is a black spot here, and the other one I can't place on any of my to build cards. So it goes onto my Empire card, and if I have any five resources there, I can trade them for a wild resource that I can keep and place on any of my cards at any point during the game. So same thing, if I produce the most of them, of the energy tokens, I will get a victory point token. We move on to the next resource. I take 3 of those because I produce 3 science. I can complete that. I have 1 extra science, so I can build that into my Empire and then get another general from the ability of this card. So now I have completed my stuff, but everyone is doing the same thing. You know, everyone is going to be building stuff at the same time. Once we have resolved all the 5 resources, the round is over, we move on to the next round, deal 7 new cards, and so on and so forth until the end of the 4th round. We are going to count up the victory point totals of the players, so you're going to have a little notepad to tell you where to score your points, and the player with the highest total is going to win the game of It's a Wonderful World. So this is a game about, at the same time, drafting the stuff you want, but also blocking your opponents from getting the stuff they want. And if you want to spice up your games, you got an expansion, which is War or Peace, and you're going to have scenarios which add cards, rules, so you have envelopes and boosters to crack open at every scenario you play, and you have a little story that unfolds with this expansion. That's it, you know almost everything there is to know about It's a Wonderful World. Now bye bye and see you on LudoVox.fr.